Hi, good evening, and welcome again to PJs with PJ, Pajama Talks with Pastor Jeannie. And maybe this is something you've been doing since the beginning of our social distancing, or maybe this is your first time stopping by. But I welcome all of you. I am Pastor Jeannie Sortland, and I serve the United Methodist Churches in Kensal and Wimbledon, North Dakota. And so, among other things, if I have thoughts in my head, that's what I talk about for PJs. And we've also been studying through the letters of John. So almost at the very end of the Bible, not the Gospel of John, but there are 3 letters of John. And so we're going to continue with that. And the greeting is to Gaius. And so this is from the elder, and so a mature Christian. So starting in verse 1, the elder to the beloved Gaius, whom I love in truth. Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you, and that you may be in good health, just as it is well with your soul. And I pray the very same thing, that it is well with your health and your soul. I was overjoyed when some of the friends arrived and testified to your faithfulness to the truth, namely how you walk in the truth. And so that means that the report that came to the author of this letter was that Gaius, as he was leading people, they were walking in the way of Jesus Christ. They were loving each other. They were taking care of each other. They were truthful and honest and looking out for those that had less. And so the author goes on in verse 4, I have no greater joy than this, to hear that my children are walking in the truth. And I think for any faith leader, there is no greater joy than the people that you lead. So I'm sure my district superintendent, if he thinks I'm living as Christ showed us to live, is glad about that. When I see the things that people in my church are doing, my churches are doing to care for other people, there's just no greater joy, because that means not only are you talking faith and are you coming to church, but you are living faith. Verse 5, Beloved, you do faithfully whatever you do for the friends, even though they are strangers to you. So there's no in, right? You don't have to know the secret handshake to be helped by the church. And verse 6, they have testified to your love before the church. You will do well to send them on in a manner worthy of God, for they began their journey for the sake of Christ, accepting no support from non-believers. Therefore, we ought to support such people so that we may become co-workers with the truth. Okay, so instead of our funds going to maybe entertainment, I'm not saying you shouldn't do things for entertainment, because I really do think that is good and healthy. But we do need to take a look at, okay, are we putting our financial resources and our time and our service towards things that are of Jesus Christ, or is it man-made entertainment or diversions from doing what God is calling us to do? And so those are just some thoughts that I have tonight, and partly I guess I'll try and wrap this up, but I haven't practiced how to pronounce these names, and so I might blow it. But anyway, verse 9, I've written something to the church, but Diotrephes, who likes to put himself first, does not acknowledge our authority. Okay, so the person that puts themselves first doesn't always lend themselves to authority. So if I come, I will call attention to what he is doing in spreading false charges against us. Okay, and also talk bad about them. And there's a lot of that going around. So pay attention to that. And maybe thwart the runaway train when people get carried away. And again in verse 10, and not content with those charges, he refused to welcome the friends and even prevents those who want to do so and expels them from the church. Okay, so not only is he kind of being a pain, but he's keeping people from the church that want to follow Christ. Verse 11, beloved, do not imitate what is evil, but imitate what is good. I think we've already addressed that. Whoever does good is from God. Whoever does evil has not seen God. Everyone has testified favorably about Demetrius, and so has the truth itself. We also testify for him, and you know that our testimony is true. And so if you are doing the right thing, if you are following Jesus, people will see that. And people will bring you up as an example to follow. Not that we're in this for pride, but it does feel good when somebody acknowledges that the work we're doing is for good. And verse 13, I have much to write to you, but I would rather not write with pen and ink. Instead, I hope to see you soon, and we will talk together face to face. Okay, I think we're all rather hopeful of that. 15, peace to you. The friends send you their greetings. Greet the friends there, each by name. And so I challenge you in this strange time, call some people from the church, maybe people that you don't always talk to, and just check on each other. See how everything's going. I've tried to check on some people, but especially with these schooling duties, I run out of hours in the day, and honestly, I've never been so tired in my life as when I go to bed at night these days. So anyway, there's just a lot of stress and strain on all of us, but we need to keep doing good and keep offering that hospitality to people and keep caring for people. So anyway, it's always good to be with you, and I thank you so much for joining me, and may you have a blessed, restful evening. Good night.